So, good evening, everyone. We are back with another session. So, we are coming near to the end of what we started our journey with about 4 or 5 weeks back. Okay, so I just wanted to do a quick recap because now we missed out on one indicator when we were talking about the lagging indicators. So, just wanted to make sure that we are in line with what we have started out. So if anybody can recap of what we did last week, who attended the session, obviously, that would be great. And then we take it up from there. So you can put it what do you remember from the last week? So if you can't remember from last week, trust me, it is going to be very difficult when you're going to look at live trading performance and your PNL moving up and down and try to figure out what should I be doing. So anybody remembers what we did last week? I hope you guys are able to hear me at least. You can put it.
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Okay, awesome. Just that
I,
we need put it on the chat, otherwise it will become a chaos, Kit. So
yeah,
what all you guys remember from last week?
I missed out last week's session, so I don't
Sure.
know what to say.
So yeah, but it will be great if you can go on the mute, Senthil. Sorry. Yeah, perfect. Anybody wants to take a guess of what we studied? Nope. Okay. So let me just start. We talked about moving averages. Then we talked about what are the different kinds of moving averages, what are the leading indicators, what are the lagging indicators. Then we started talking about how do you use moving average crossovers. Then we moved one step forward. And then we started talking about MACD. And I showed you what is one of my favorite ways of looking at MACD. It's not the center line crossover, but obviously I use that bullish and bearish divergence for it. Now, as we come, finish our MACD. Now I want to take another indicator which we missed out. It's called as average directional index. Now, this is a very unique indicator for a lot of people because a lot of people always have this question. And when I also started out, I told you that market works beautifully when the lagging indicator works beautifully when the market is trending. Just a hold on. Huh? Yeah. So when I spoke about when the market uh, is trending, then the lagging indicators would work beautifully. But when the market is sideways, leading indicators will do beautifully. So we started with lagging indicators. So now one of the question that always comes is how do we know whether the market is a trending market or whether the market is sideways market? And one of the indicators that was developed by Wells Wilder in his one of the very innovative book at that point of time is new concept in technical trading system. And he developed these three indicators called as directional movement index, and then a third part of that is called as average directional index. Okay, so now what is the directional movement? First, you have to understand what is the directional movement. So what it calculates is calculates the today's high vis-a-vis yesterday's high, and it's a positive momentum, right? And if you calculate the today's low vis-a-vis the yesterday's low, and you calculate the negative momentum. And if I'm going to put, say, just for an example, okay, so whenever market is sideways, okay, market is in the range like this, what you will see is basically the market is doing something like this, okay, and then the market goes up, then goes up. But once the market breaks out, what happens is you see a very positive drift happening in the prices. So if you see like this, the super market starts going up, and if you see compare the highs, they are quite widen, and that's how you define an uptrend as well. The highs are making new highs and at a very high speed. and that's what it gets calculated in a very complex indicator called as directional index. So this is an indicator. So when the market is actually going up, so what is happening? The highs are rising much faster than the compared to lows. So you see a green line, which is a positive plus DI. Okay, when it crosses, so it also goes up. But then on the other hand, the negative DI starts going down because the positive drift in the market. So whenever there is a positive drift in the market, the green line will keep on going up. When I say green line, it is a positive DI. So it starts going up. Okay. And when assuming market starts coming down, what will happen is the red line, which is a negative DI, will actually starts coming up. Okay, so once that is crossing each other, like we have studied in the moving average or MACD, the green line crossing its trigger line, you buy, or a moving average crossovers, the similar signals were generated from there. Like whenever this crossover happens, you go bullish. Whenever this happens and the red goes above, that means it's a negative signal. um, I don't like this kind of way of trading. Just hold on. Yeah, sorry. So I just don't like this kind of trading where there is too much of noise. But a lot of people I've seen use this indicator like this. Whenever there is a crossover happening on whatever the bar it is happening, you go long with a low of that bar, the crossover bar as a stop loss. So the positive DI crosses the negative DI. So it's a positive crossover. So that means a bullish momentum. So you take that bar and take the low of that bar as your stop loss, and you trail you go long and you trail your stop losses. We are going to talk about the trailing of the stop losses at a later stage. Here, what happened? The red line crossed over the green line. That means it's a negative DI momentum. You take that bar, you mark the high of that bar as your stop loss. If it gets triggered out, you get stopped out. Otherwise, you can actually capture on the profit. Now, if you see over here again, in this area where you started losing money, if you see over here, this period, you go long, you get stopped out. You get short. Okay, when you get a sell signal, you exit your position, put your stop losses, which turn out to be okay, a scratch trade, I would call it. But then once the trend came in, it never kind of gave you a buy signal till this point of time. So as you can see, whenever this plus DI minus DI crossover is happening, you take that bar as a reference bar and you mark the low of that reference bar as your stop loss and you trail the stop loss. I don't like that way of trading, I'll be very honest. But yeah, this is how it's been calculated. But now what has happened is, if you see over here, if the market is sideways, okay, there is a lot of crisscrossing happening between plus DI and the minus DI. Now, if you see, it is not going anywhere. But assuming once the market starts trending, okay, and if I start calculating the difference between the plus DI and the minus DI, the way we calculated MACD and MACD trigger line, if you remember in the previous session, the MACD and the MACD, there is a difference between the two. So what is this average directional index? It is nothing but an absolute difference between plus DI and minus DI. It's nothing, but if you see, the plus DI is going up, whereas minus DI is going down. So what is happening between the two? The difference between the two is increasing. And if you see this ADX, as the plus DI is increasing, and why do plus DI will increase? Because the market is actually going up, and you can see the ADX also going up. And this, they have historically found, whenever the prices are below 25, or sorry, when the ADX is below 25, the market is a sideways market, and the ADX about 25, it is trending market. I'm repeating again. When the ADX is below 25, it is a sideways market definition. And when the ADX is about 25, it is a trending market. Now, how did they came out with this number? It is what Wells Wilder decided. This is what in her experiment worked. And a lot of people and every charting software have started putting up this as their reference level, and seems to be doing pretty decently well job. Okay. Now let's take an example of Reliance in this matter. And we will again go back during the, once the session is over, we will go back to the live charts and start looking at those indicators on the real time basis. But if you see over here, Reliance for that matter is in a quite a big of sideways consolidation. Now, if you see this, Reliance was going nowhere, but all of a sudden, the ADX started to go about 25, which was an early indication that this could be a trending market. Okay. I'm again repeating. If you see the ADX, ADX is nothing. So plus DI is your positive directional, minus DI is a negative directional. So whenever this green crossing red and going up, that is a positive crossover. And that means you mark the low of that reference bar and you go long. So that's one way of looking at trading. But sometimes you will get a lot of chip chop that is happening. Can you see here? Like, positive DI crossing negative DI quite a few times. And then you will be frustrated. Why doesn't it work? But as I told you, that lagging indicators will give you a lot of losses. But when it is right, it will start giving you a lot of profit. So now your point is, whenever the ADX, and ADX is nothing but a difference between the positive DI and the negative DI. Okay. So once the ADX starts going about 25, it gives you an early indication that the market is in a complete trend. Now, if you see, Reliance moved from 1,000 to 1,300 in a clear-cut uptrend. And this was a precursor to it. And then again, when the market starts consolidation, okay, when the market is consolidating, can you see the ADX again going below 25? So a lot of times you will get an early idea whether you should be following a leading indicator or a lagging indicator. Now, when you are looking at ADX, one thing you have to remember that, okay, a rising ADX, and a lot of people get this wrong. A rising ADX does not mean कि market is an uptrend. मैं वापस repeat करता हूँ. A rising ADX greater than 25 does not mean it is an uptrend. It only tells you that the market is trending. It can be a downtrend also. Okay, let's take this example and you will understand. Our favorite stock, which has been talked most about on Twitter, I think so. Even Nifty was not talked about so much, but everybody talked about ITC all the time. Okay, but can you see over here for the ITC in a broad consolidation range going nowhere? And what happened to the ADX? ADX was continuously always below 25. And this was a precursor that, I should not be looking for a trending position or a lagging indicator. I should be rather be looking at selling at high and buying at lower, selling high, buying at lower. But once it started going above 25, can you see what is happening is the red line? It started to go up, whereas the green line started to go down. So the difference between the plus DI and the minus DI started increasing. So is your difference between your ADX started going up? And this was a very good indication that, there is a high possibility, and I'm using my words very carefully. There is a high possibility that the market will turn into a trending market. Again, for the people who have just joined in, I again encourage you to think in this direction, okay? Everything will look good on the chart when I am presenting, because when presenter presents, obviously they will have taken the right example where it has worked, but there have been number of times it will not work, and that is the time. And technical analysis, in my personal experience, has worked only 50 to 60% of the time. Okay, if you have a very good mean reversion trading strategy, it can go up to 70% of the time. That's pretty much about it. But most of the time you will be wrong, and when the time is wrong, it is best to book your loss and get out, which is small. If I would have tried to trade this, my stop loss is this much. But if I was using a trend following system from 225, I would have actually captured till, not I would say 150, but at least 175 tak ka, I would have able to capture it. So always remember, don't get fascinated about by seeing such a beautiful charts, because these are all selected charts. But when you start trading it, they will go wrong. So your job as a trader, you are not a trader, guys. Always remember, जब भी आप trading करते हो ना, I always use this word. What is the difference between a speculation and gambling? Can anybody put it on chat? Is there a difference, first of all? If there is a difference? In my view, there is a difference. So let's start with easy one. What is the difference between a speculation and gambling? Speculation और gambling में फर्क क्या है? Wow. Gambling is betting in one direction, Keith says. Anybody else wants to take a chance? What is the difference between gambling and speculation? Speculation means taking advice from others. Interesting, yeah. I'm looking for very one answer. Yeah, very specific. Speculation is taking educated guess by using analysis. Kit is right. So I'm going to, yeah, you are right, Kit. Any more? Calculated risk. You will lose money in gambling. Speculation is data. You guys are right. Speculation, when there is a probability attached to what you are doing, there is a high probability that you will win. Let's take an example. If I'm flipping a coin, and there were 6 tails before that, and I know okay, there were 6 tails before, and now I need to bet, and all of a sudden I say, you know what, there have been 6 tails before that, so let the probability of a head in the next toss will be higher, and let me bet everything on that bet, saying that I have 1 crore rupees, and if I put it head, it will be a winning trade, and I will make all the money, 1 crore plus whatever the gambling bet is. That's gambling, because your probability of a next head is still 50-50. But somehow, I'm just for an example, you middle or you play around with that coin, that there is a high probability that after 4 or 5 tails, you getting a head is much more. Okay? The probability change in your favor by 60 or 70 times, that you may get head after a certain number of tails coming in. And that's speculation. And speculation with the right bet size is what trading is all about. Lot of people take only advice, and that's why I always tell people, learn yourself. I can teach you whatever you want to learn. Okay? But you start making your own trading decisions. And that will be very helpful to you. So now you have understood what is the difference between. So here you may go wrong. At that point of time, you take a stop loss and get out of the system. That's it. Now, so we completed with this all the lagging indicators, and we'll see some with live examples. Okay. When we are going to go to the live charts. Now we are going to talk about the leading indicators. Now, leading indicator is one of my favorite indicators that I use for my trading purpose. The people who know and follow me on my Twitter and everything, I use quite a bit of leading indicator on my systems. So I'm going to talk about 2 major indicators, relative strength and stochastic. I will spend a lot of amount of time on relative strength index, because I believe, and I've been trading and making money using that indicator, so I can actually give you a lot of insight into it. And definitely we're going to talk about stochastic as well. So what is this indicator? Let me just make it very interesting for you. Okay. So let me just make it very interesting. In terms of, say, last 14 days, I was very happy. Say, in last 14 days, 7 days I was very happy. 7 days I was very sad. How was my last 14 days? It was a mixed bag, right? 7 days I was happy, 7 days I was sad. So my last 14 days were okay. But in last 14 days, say 10 days, I was very happy. And like, I was overjoyed. And say maybe whatever the days, 4 days, I was sad. And not that sad because my overjoy was there. And so I was more happy than sad. And similarly, on say last 14 days, 10 days, I was very, very, very sad. And only 4 days joyful. Now I was more sad than more happy. Now, if you take out this happy sad part from this and talk about the market movement, say in last 14 days, say market went up on an average much higher. So what you are doing is in the last 14 days, on an average, how much the stock has gone up on an average. Okay. And you divide it by the down days. So that actually tells you that whether the stock has momentum or it has not had the momentum. And when you put all these values into the indicator, it gives you an RSI value. Now, the way the RSI is calculated, it is called bounded oscillator. Bounded matlab kya? 100 minus. So it will never go above 100 because it is 100 minus, right? And similarly, it will never go below 0. So the oscillator will remain between 0 and 100. Now that's why it is called as bounded oscillator. So how do you make your decisions of buying and selling? So before that, I just want to talk about and levels. It's called as overbought and oversold levels. Now, what they have figured out is, okay, I have talked about is overbought and oversold in next slide. So what about bullish and bearish divergence? So let me just move away from the slide, and the people who have attended the session, definitely let's do a recap. What is a bullish divergence? What is a bullish divergence? And guys, you have to put it out on chat. That means otherwise you have not understood anything. If you are not being participated, it will be very difficult for me. So what do you think is an positive divergence or a bullish divergence? What do you think of that? So indicator going up but price going down, as Balasubraham says, okay, that's a positive divergence. Anybody believe that it is correct? Bullish stock, RSI, lower low, perfect. Price increases, indicator going down. So now there are two things. Price is going down and price is increasing, an indicator going down. So Tushar, what you just talked about is something called as negative divergence. But what Bala and other people said, bullish divergence is nothing. But when the prices are making lower lows, the prices are going down, not increase, but it goes down. But the indicator is going up. It's called as bullish divergence. And what is a bearish divergence? When the prices are going up, but the indicators are going down. It is called as a negative divergence or a bearish divergence. So now if you see over here, can you see the prices going up? But the indicator either remain flat or also going down. It is an early indication. It is called as a negative or a bearish divergence. And now if you see over here, price is going down. So I'm assuming the indicator should also go down. But in this scenario, what is happening to the indicator? The indicator is actually going up. So that's what it tells you, that it is a what? Bullish divergence or a positive divergence. So always remember that these are very good tool. If you want to put a gun on my head and say, okay, one discretionary system that you can trade, I would take these divergence trades because they are very powerful, because they come near the end of the bottom when everybody is bearish. But also remember that when you are trying to go against the trend, you will be wrong at least 3 times before you get it right, or maybe 2 times before you get it right. So mentally, you be prepared many times, because we saw a big negative divergence and I went short. Okay. And I have no, fear of saying that I was wrong on the market. There was a big negative divergence. I bought puts on heavy quantity and I got wrong. I immediately got stopped out, because when you are wrong, prices will tell you you are wrong. Just book it out and move out. Okay. That's the beauty about trading. If you are wrong, you will immediately know you are wrong. Book it out. A lot of people make this mistake. Okay, that when they are wrong, they try to compound their mistake by averaging it more. So that's a dangerous thing to be in. So always l- try to look for this divergence. And when we are going to combine with, say, Bollinger Band in the next session, we will see how you can combine the RSI W setup and a Bollinger Band setup to make a good, very good trade that we are going to do. So always remember this: market going up, the indicator going down, and if the low between the two divergence point is breached, that is your good indication that this divergence has been confirmed and you should actually look to short the market. And we will see with a real example also. When the market makes a lower bottom but the high has been taken out, that's a bullish signal. Now I have taken an example of FTSE, obviously, because Trasan, we have still not started trading the overseas market, but just wanted to put this point. Now if you see over here, there was a divergence for more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. FTSE just kept on going up and up and up and up. And what was the divergence was showing you? Always going down. Now, always remember, okay? Always remember that it's like cancer, okay? Lack of a better example, I have to give you that example. Sorry about that. If cancer is detected in the early phase, it is much easier to cure, right? But if it's detected after a long period of time, then it is becomes very difficult. Similarly, similarly, if there is a negative divergence happening for a long period of time, and when there is a breakdown happening, okay, whenever there is a breakdown happening, the fall will be very sharp, because something was going up and up with a long, less and less momentum. That is telling you that this momentum, when it breaches, a lot of people will dump their shares and you will see a big fall coming in. So always remember that आपने immediately divergence देख लिया and उसके ऊपर आप चढ़ गए, then you may go wrong. Now somebody asks, what is the failure swing? That means what is, there was a swing high, okay, there was a swing high here, there was a swing high. So if you see the RSI, if you compare the swing high, what is the difference? What in between? What were the swing low point? Is this one? So if you see the RSI breached somewhere around earlier on this particular bar, it got breached. So it was a good indication that this failure swing has taken place, and there is a high probability that prices may reach up to this point at least. Similarly, in our scenario now here, if you see over here, there was a one swing low, there was another swing bottom here. So if I mark the highest high between the two, it was this one. Once it is breach out, you go long. So these are the examples that you can think of putting into your system. Okay, let me see how I can delete this now. Okay, it gone. So everybody clear now? What is the swing high, swing low, and failure of swing patterns? Now, what we just talked about is the overbought and oversold levels. So how the way the RSI is calculated, it will never go above 100 and it will never go below 0. What Wells Wilder figured out, that there is an area where the market seems to be called as an overbought, and when the prices goes below that, it is called oversold, and they gave this term as 70. So when the 14 period RSI goes above 70, it is called as overbought, and when it is goes below 30, it is called as oversold. Now a lot of people, that is actually the most problem, the way you use the word can confuse you in your trading. What do I mean by that? If I tell you that, you know what, ICICI Bank is overbought. Now, what is that first thing that comes into your mind? Acha, overbought hai, बेच दो, right? And that's where a lot of people get it wrong. Okay, because they think when the prices are goes into an overbought zone, they need to short. I will show you an example where do you want to short and where do you want to buy, but just for the timing, just think that, imagine yourself, you are standing on a rail track or samne se, or from in front of you there is a bullet train coming in. Do you think you will put your hand and tell them, okay, boss, stop because I'm telling you to do? No, the train will ram over you and then go ahead. Same thing, when the market is moving up and the indicator goes into an overbought and you say, you know what, the indicator is overbought, just short. What happened to you? If you short, say ICICI Bank at 450, it made a high of 550. Only when it was an overbought itself. Okay? Again, when it entered into an overbought zone and you said, you know what, overbought, let's short it. What happened? 550, 600 tak chala gaya. It's a good indicator that we will talk about how you have to use it. And this is the how people have been using traditionally. Okay, boss, oversold ho gaya. HDFC Bank became oversold. If I would have used a term oversold, market is oversold, you will think, oh, it is a very good buy, and you buy. HDFC Bank at 1250. What happened to the price? It just kept on going down and down and down. Okay. So always, this is what I call as the traditional use of RSI. A lot of people have been doing like this. Whenever it goes into an overbought, sell. When it is going over sold, you buy. And that's a dangerous way of trading. There is a way you can talk about it. We'll talk about how you can build a strategy on it. Just change the dimension. If something is going up, why do you want to short it? You actually turn the table and tell them, boss, अगर कुछ बुलेट ट्रेन जा रही है तो उसके बाजू में अपनी भी इंजन लगा दो, बिकॉज उसकी हवा से अपनी भी इंजन चले पड़ेगी. Now, same thing I have just done, and this concept was introduced very well by a guy. I forgot the name. Sorry about that. Some English guy. He kind of introduced this concept called as range shift. Okay, and he, rather than using 70-30 as an overbought and oversold levels, he used 60-40. Okay. Now what he says, that whenever the prices actually goes, or the RSI 14 period RSI goes above 60, it is actually not the overbought market is actually telling you that there is a big trend happening in the market. You should actually go long rather than be against the market. And it turns from a mean reversion trading system, it turns into a trend following system. And what it says is, once it enters into an 60 zone, you actually go long till it goes below 40. And if you see in the entire bull market rally of HDFC Bank, first of all, forget about that, it hardly come to 40, it hardly breached 50 also till this point of time. It was a one-way continuous uptrend. So if you would have gone long here, you would have able to capture the entire rally. मैंने बताया था चार्ट में सब अच्छा दिखेगा, जब लाइव ट्रेड करने जाओगे तो सब कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. But at least when it worked, it has worked beautifully, and that's the idea of a trader. When you are right, just sit tight. Oh, Motilal, sorry, trust line guy, but yeah, for the fun, buy right and sit tight, right? Here, the funny thing is you just buy here and just sit tight. The problem with a lot of people is they want to do everything every time, right? So what I really want to emphasize on you guys is that you should, I remember this quote by Jesse Livermore. Okay, thank you, Falgun Bhai. It was Andrew Cardwell who introduced this concept of 60-40. It's like range shift, so you can do a Google search and you'll find lot of informative things about him. And I have started incorporating this indicator in my trading as well. And I'm building a lot of swing trading strategy based on this concept of range shift. Okay, so I encourage you to look at this indicator very, very, thoroughly and master that. Jesse Livermore, if you don't know who is Jesse Livermore, type Jesse Livermore and you will figure out he's one of the most legendary trader ever lived in this entire world. In 1929, he made some $1 million. Okay. When the market crashed, he was the richest guy almost. And you know what? What was he saying? What did he say? That it was never my thinking that made me money. It was my sitting on my position that made me money. And that's what it is. It was his sitting. If he would have gone long on HDFC Bank and did not try to capture all the swing bottoms, he would have made a decent amount of money. But problem hai, hum log ko action chahiye. We want action all the day. And that's why, we don't make much money. So the thing is, trend following is all about sitting tight. So just sit tight. Now I'm going to introduce you another way of trading RSI and one of my favorite ways of trading mean reversion trading strategy. Unconventional use of RSI. Up till now, I told you right here, what did I say? Never buy something that goes into an oversold and never sell something that goes into an overbought. You wait for it, right? Now I'm going to contradict myself, right? Now I'm going to contradict myself. How? Because I'm going to lessen my period of RSI. Up till now, if you go back on your charts and look at all the charts, you will see by default how many period RSI you will always get? 14 period. What I have done is I have actually changed my period from 14 period to 2 period. And trust me, these are nothing of my innovation. I'm just a trader like you guys. Okay. This has been propounded by a guy called Larry Connors. And that's the beauty about reading books. When you read a lot of books, you get a lot of ideas and you combine them and you make them your own style. Okay. So this was very well propounded by a guy called Larry Connors, and he's actually a good friend of mine. We actually speak sometimes. And in fact, he was trying to come to India with his systems and everything. What did he say is what they figured out when they were playing with RSI. The shorter the period of RSI, the more you shorten the period of RSI, there is a sweet spot where you will be able to capture the swing bottoms and the swing tops. Okay, you'll be able to capture the swing bottoms and the swing tops, and that sweet spot he was able to figure out with quantifiable edges is 2 period RSI. And what did he say is, I will talk about the more rules of the strategy at a later stage, but whenever 2 period RSI is below 10, okay, you actually buy. Now this is very contrarian to a lot of people. This is contrarian to a lot of people because how many of your times, okay, how many of you, I have a question and you can, put on the chat, how many of you actually buy when there is a red candle? How many of you actually buy when there is a red candle? Think about it, okay? Wow. So Falgun buy, Krishna during pullback, okay. No, red candle. Pullback is okay, but you will enter on a green candle when you will wait for market to show you some sign of bullishness, right? Most of us, I would go to an extent of 90%. 90% of us will never buy on a red candle. And do you know why? Because we, as an human being, always wait for confirmations, and which is good. I'm not saying no to it. But let's turn the table and think in this direction. Let's turn the table and think in that direction. कि हम लोग साला sorry हम लोग पैसा क्यों नहीं बना रहे? एवरीबडी ऑन ट्विटर, ऑन लिंक्डइन, सब जगह सब लोग पैसा बना रहे, हम लोग क्यों नहीं बना रहे? और मे बी बिग गाय, बिग ट्रेडर मेक्स मनी, तो हमसे क्यों नहीं बन रहा है? The reason is because we are doing what everybody is doing. We are actually buying when there are green candles. Now, if I would show you something, can you see when it entered into a red candle, red candle and 2 period RSI, I actually buy. When I actually buy, when there is a red candle, and when I'm saying it, I am genuinely meaning it, right? I actually buy when there is a red candle because that's where the edge is. क्योंकि we all complained about slippages. मैंने लेने गया था 100 पे, लेकिन मिला मेरे को 102 पे. क्यों? क्योंकि आपने ग्रीन कैंडल के ब्रेकआउट के बाद चढ़ने की ट्राई की थी, तो वहां पे तो सब लोग देख रहे थे, तो सब लोग चढ़ रहे थे. That's why you get a big slippage. But when there is a red candle, everybody's selling, and that is the time you actually make money, or you don't get slippages. Can you see this was almost the bottom, and the market took a swing after it. Again, can you see on a red candle? When everybody's selling, you are actually buying, and that's what Warren Buffett say, right? Buy when everybody's be greedy when everybody's fearful, and be fearful when everybody's greedy, right? It is the same thing. When there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles, everybody's fearful. At that point of time, you have to take your neck out and buy. For this rally, when everybody, people will start waiting for this green candle or this green candle, और जैसे ही वो लोग चढ़ेंगे ना 2-3 बार में, तो वो वापस नीचे भी आ जाएगा. एंड जैसे कि बस मेरा स्टॉप लॉस हिट हो गया. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि मेरे स्टॉप लॉस हिट नहीं होते. मेरा स्टॉप लॉस about 50% of the time I get stop out, but I actually make more money when I'm right. Can you see all the bottoms that I'm marking for you? Can you see where all these bottoms are formed? And where did the RSI closed? Okay, so let me ask, okay, let me just talk about this part, okay? Somebody spotted it, and I told you, right? Everybody will show you what they want to show you. And I am not going to run away from it, because I've just hide certain things for you just to make sure and show you what first works, and then I will show you what does not work. Always remember that. Now, what about this? Reliance Industry. Okay, somebody asked for the first bottom. Okay, let's talk about first bottom. Here, bottom, a rally. Another bottom, another dip. Can you see? Oh, sorry. Another dip, almost the bottom, almost the bottom, bottom. Can you see? Okay. Can you see what are the bottoms that has been formed? And right, who said that you are going to make money all the time? What if I would have bought here? But I have not talked about all the rules. See, that's the problem. That when we want to find something, we will always find that. Okay. What if I told you I have not told you all the rules? Then this will not come into the picture. Why this only? Or why at this point of time this only? We will see with the live charts. Okay. Now let's jump. Okay. Let's jump to the real life charts. So let me just pull up some charts, say ICICI Bank. So let me just come here and make it to a daily chart, okay? And let me put, there is one indicator that you should first talk about always, which I have not talked about in the PPT, but I just wanted you to focus here. I will never, ever buy anything, okay? I will never have a long trade if it is below 200-day moving average. Remember our lagging day indicators? Lagging indicators? If it is above 200-day, वो form में है. And if it is below 200-day average, I'm not interested in going long. Go back in the history, okay? We have talked about those 200-day moving average many times, but I just wanted to make sure that we do it again. Let me just pull up one more chart for you guys. If I can, 1 second. So everyone remember our bad days of, I always try to give this example and somebody will get offended with it. Okay. DHFL, one of the biggest, best NBFC. Even I was riding this rally, okay? The minute it comes below this, below 200-day moving average, out of my radar. I'm not going to look at that stock ever till it reaches about 200-day moving average. In this case scenario, it has started now going up about 200-day moving average, but now it has become like a mid-cap stock. Okay, let's talk about something that would have saved. I'm sure one or two of you would definitely have some positions in these charts, okay, that I'm going to show you. What about this chart? Anybody remember this? 600 rupees. Now what? Almost bankrupt. Okay. We talked about Yes Bank. The minute the stock goes below.
It's still showing the other chart.
Sorry?
Screen is not visible. Live charts are not visible.
Okay, so which screen are you seeing? You're seeing
Reliance
DHF.
Industries.
Yeah, you are able to see Devan Housing now?
No, we are seeing only Reliance Industries Limited.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I need to, okay. So let me, are you able to see the PPT now, right?
Yes, yeah, cursor is moving.
Cursor is moving, right? Let me just see if I can pull and share that screen. Just a second. Thank you for flagging this out.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just trying to play around. Just give me a second, huh? Are you able to see the Suzlon chart now? No?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Still the... No. Are you able to see Suzlon now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Now
yes,
can
we
you
can.
see? Yeah. So what I was trying to say, we'll just go back to the thing is, the stock below 200-day moving average, not interested. Okay. For any long position. Same when somebody asked me like what happened to the HDFC Bank. Okay. Because if I would have invested earlier part of it, I would have lost money. Yes. Actually, no. Because I'm going to pull up HDFC Bank chart for you because it is split adjusted and everything. And let me just share that HDFC Bank chart. Okay. So assuming this is getting split, it is below 200-day moving average. No buy signal. And let me now put 2-period RSI on it. So when I go to this and put RSI, and now what I need to do is just change the periodicity from 14 period to 2 period. And my entry and exits are 90-10. So what we just saw, okay, the fall that we just talked about is all this. It was never a buy signal, although I would not have taken this bottom as well. But I just was trying to show you how you mark the bottoms. So at this juncture, I would have not gone into anything that is below 200-day moving average. Everyone clear? Screen sharing has, okay. So let me share Reliance chart. So everyone can see now?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Now, what I will do is, let's go back and study these charts again. Just a second. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put 200-day moving average on this. Now, my trigger will only come once it is below 200-day, once it is about 200-day moving average for my long swing trading. Okay. So the first rule is satisfied here. Are you guys all with me? Yeah. And I will buy when 2-period RSI is below 10. If people are aggressive enough, and I can talk about this on and on, okay? I've used also 80-20 rules also. Now, if you see over here, whenever it goes below 20, I buy my first. If you are a aggressive trader, you can go for 20. If you are a conservative trader, go for 10. Okay. And I always do scaling. I never buy everything in one go because I'm catching a falling knife, which is very dangerous. Now, what has happened here is 2-period RSI less than 10 or 20. Let's not confuse ourselves first. Let's start with then, and then we'll go to 20. So below 10, you come back at during 3:15, you go long, and the minute it actually goes above 75, okay, I can think of it as like 77, I exit. That's it. Then I wait for another stock which is making the same kind of pattern. Now here, 2-period RSI below 10 at about 2092, and this year it moved above 77, 78. I exit here. Again, here I make an entry. This time when the 77 hit, it was a break-even trade. Now this is where the pain starts to get to you, right? You went long and the prices starts coming down. And now this was a mystery to me because the way Larry Connors also described this strategy, that mean reversion trading strategy should not have stop losses. Okay. And if you have a stop loss, it will hurt your system badly. But as a trader, we cannot trade without stop losses. So I was myself was, very difficult for me to trade this system. And over a period of time, when I combined the two strategies together, so if you remember just prior to this study, we talked about RSI 14 period, if you remember, and we also talked about the range shift, which was 60 and 40, right? Now, can you see this? Now, these two things came so nicely with each other to build a system for you. Price is about 200-day moving average, which is telling you there is a positive drift in the stock. Okay. Whenever 2-period RSI is greater than, less than 10, which is your swing bottom. And can you see what is the RSI? It is never gone below 40. So this was their entry price. And then you got out. Again, you got an entry and then you got out. Again, you got an entry somewhere around here almost, but at least it was a break-even trade. But what happened here? The minute you entered here somewhere around on this below 10, simultaneously at that point of time, what happened to your range shift? If you remember, it started going below 40. It would have saved you from that pain. Are you able to, kind of understand what I'm trying to reach to? Let's take few more examples. And then we go to the last, I think so we'll keep the stochastic because I think so there is so much to learn in this strategy itself that we can actually have another session for this. But let's, can you give me some more stock names I can try to put up here and then we can show you. Yeah. Hero Motor, okay? And always try to see the stocks which are making new highs because they are in a clear uptrend, guys. Always remember that, right? So let me just put Hero MotoCorp. Are you able to see the Hero MotoCorp chart now? Let me just change, yeah. And why I can take any stock? Because I'm confident that this works. That's the beauty about this strategy, right? Because I'm sure that it works. Now what happens? First rule, closing about 200-day moving average. Very good. So now I'm looking, once it starts going about 200-day moving average, I'm looking for dip to add to my portfolio. Hero MotoCorp started going down. What happened to my 2-period RSI? My 2-period RSI is less than 10. What is happening to the RSI? It is way above 40. It's around 60. 14 period, which is also a strong trend telling me that, I should be buying on the dips on the red candle. What do I do when everybody's panicking? I actually go out and buy. and it goes above 70, I get out of it. Now somebody says, okay, sir, we have missed out the full rally. Trust me, decide what kind of strategy that you are running. This is a mean reversion trading strategy. It is not a trend following strategy. So if you are doing, there was a famous dialogue in a movie. If you're going to shoot, shoot, don't talk. Okay? गोली मारनी है तो गोली मारो, ज़्यादा बातें मत करो. Similarly, if you're a mean reversion trader, be a mean reversion trader. Have different strategy for trend following. But don't try to have a mean reversion entry and try to tell me that, I want to capture this full trend using a mean reversion. Doesn't work that way. Okay? Bottom. Pelia, what happened to the RSI 14 period? Above 60, I go long, I exit here. After a few days, everybody forgot Hero MotoCorp. Again, RSI below 10. This is above 40. What happens to the prices? Goes up. Now again, what do you see? Here, you take an entry. It is still above 40. And it goes above it. You take the entry. I have taken about 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to take fifth trade, which was this one. This turned out to be a losing trade. Okay. And I would have lost money. Trust me, guys. There is no escaping because when you are going to do a mean reversion trading system, you will be right 70% of the time and you will be wrong about 30 to 40% of the time. So that means when you are going to lose, you're going to lose big. Then what you are going to make. But your accuracy is 70. So that will take care of your losses. कभी भी ऐसा मत सोचना. ट्रेंड फॉलोइंग में क्या होगा, हम लोग ने बात की हुई है. ट्रेंड फॉलोइंग में हम लोग ने बोला कि मेरी accuracy will be about 30 to 40% of the time. But when I'm going to make money, I'm going to make 1:2 or 1:3 times. So if I'm going to trade long enough, I'm going to be profitable. Mean reversion mein, you will be right about 60 to 70% of the time, but you will be making 1 rupee because your accuracy will be high. But when you will be wrong, like here, you'll be wrong big time. So that will be like 2 times your wrong signals. So वहां पे आप ज़्यादा पैसा तोड़ोगे, but net in the long run, you will still end up making money. So this is the crux of trading, guys. I have given you my 10 years of experience in just matter of 10 minutes. There is no holy grail. You mix your trend following, you mix your mean reversion trading strategy and together. So here I can say, okay, Hero MotoCorp में entry लिया, यहाँ पे I will exit it. फिर अगर उसको ऊपर जाना है तो जाने दो, ठीक है? Let's take one more example. Say Divi's Lab.
Vishal, can I ask one thing?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, because we will try to put it on chat. That would be much better, but we'll have a question and answer session. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So what will be the time frame of 1 day or 15 minutes or 1 hour?
I love this question when somebody asks me, because we all want to start trading intraday, right? Sorry, come again.
It will work for 15 minutes or 1 hour chart or daily basis.
Yeah. So that's what I said, because everybody thinks कि बस इसको मैं intraday में चलाऊं कि नहीं. Take my words for it. It works.
No, not an issue.
No. I will answer that. Don't worry. The thing is, it will work across the time frame, but always remember that the return that you will get on a larger time frame will be much higher. But obviously, your drawdowns will be much higher. But the logic applies everywhere. It will work. I would not go anything below, say, 15 minutes or 10 minutes. If you're purely trading intraday, it will still work on an intraday. But you be ready with a lot of, stop losses also being hit. But if I go back to Hero MotoCorp, let's take Nifty and a Bank Nifty on a 5 minute, but otherwise stocks should be 15 minutes should be okay, or a 1 hour chart should be okay. So if you see over here, let's take Hero MotoCorp. When did it cross about 200-day moving average? Here, you with me? Now, what will happen is a lot of people will problem with the shorter time frame. I'll tell you. It gave you a buy signal here, say about 3157, and about 3178, it gave you a sell signal around 3178. Now you'll say, boss, 20 रुपए में क्या मिला? Transaction cost खर्चा ही निकल गया. Because you have chosen a time frame which is short, so your stop losses will also be small. Okay, so always I try to do it on a larger time frame, 1 hour to daily time frame, but yes, it works across the time frame. And I would encourage you to check on, put out your charts and check for your stocks whether it has worked or not. So if I go to Divi's Lab just for a fact, and let me pull out that chart and let me share Divi's Lab chart with you. Okay, so now you can see Divi's Lab chart. Everyone can see it, right? Now, about 200-day moving average. So let's take it from here when it started moving about 200-day moving average. The stock started going about 200-day moving average. Came here, there was a drop below 10. You guys with me? It was still above 40. So range shift has not taken place. After some time, the prices went up about 77, whatever I have bought. Now, if you get very smart over a period of time, you will, I'm sure, you will never buy your full position in one go because you are trying to catch a falling knife. You want to scale out your position. So maybe have 2 scale-ins. Buy if it is below 10. If it still remains below 10, but still 14 period RSI greater than 40, I still buy one more lot. Okay. I buy one and then I get out here. After a few days, now the question comes के विशाल यार excitement नहीं मिल रही है, पूरा एक month मेरे को trade नहीं मिल रहा है. It is my sitting that made me money. It was never my thinking. Okay. The opportunities are supposed to be rare. If the opportunities are every 15 minutes, 10 minutes, then they are not opportunities, right? Then there are no edge. So always remember that, always try to do that. Now we'll talk about the short sides consequently, but first we'll understand on the long side. Now here what happens? Prices go below 10, it is still above 40, I go long, I get out here. So that's my swing. Again, I go here, buy here, and I exit here. Can you see the accuracy? And I'm not saying this is a holy grail. Trust me, guys, this is not. But it is one of the most powerful indicator that I have been personally trading for myself. I can only tell you that much. Okay. Now let's think about the short side of it. Although short side, always remember you have to be very, very, very careful because the short spurts are very fast. Okay. If you're going to look at the short side of the any chart, I'm just trying to show you some examples, but if you see the beauty about this system, day in, day out, it works beautifully. Now, assuming here, price is below 200-day moving average. Now, it is above 90. What should I do? I short. And in few days, it turned out to be below 30. I exit my position. Again, below 200-day moving average, but just below 60 of the 14 period, I go short. Within few days, I get my swing. Here, I would have got out because my 90 and my 60 both came together. So at this point of time, I would be worried because it is below 200-day moving average. I may want to extend this period because what happens is in short covering, it's not like a bull market. They are very fast. So you really want to give some wiggle when you are trying to do a short only strategy. And that's what my experience has taught me, that short coverings are very fast. But the parameter changes from 10 to 90 and the RSI period moves from 40 to 60. But the same thing. So can you see this beauty about it just keeps on working. I'll take one more examples from what you guys have put it up. Say Pidilite. It's the most lethargic stock that you can think of, but it is the beauty about it, right? It keeps on giving you money year in, year out. But the problem is very few people will have in their portfolio because everybody, including me, wants an action, right? So where's Pidilite? Let me just figure out where did I kept Pidilite. Okay. And this is the last one, and then we'll open up for questions. See, now this is one of the most boring stock, I would call it. Now, the problem here is it keeps on chip chopping the 200-day moving averages. And that's why it creates a lot of confusion in a trader's mind. But if you like, something which is away from a 200-day moving average, which will give you a nice bit of trend. Now, what I want to show you is this. Price is going up. 2-period RSI going below 10, I go long. You buy your second unit, or if you don't buy your second unit, you will be getting out at a break even. On the second fall, you buy first unit, second unit, and somewhere around here, you will be able to get out. This stock, interestingly, does not follow this strategy quite nicely. Let's be honest, because I can see many trades that are just going down. So the swings are not that, the what do you call it, like, it's a boring stock and the price is just keeps on going down, and then all of a sudden it goes up. So you want to trade something which is more active in its nature, like very active. India Bull Housing Finance, they are very active stocks. Or Reliance, Tisco is Tata Steel, Tata Motors. So these are all active stocks. You really want to keep a track on that. So this is how you should go about building. What was the conventional RSI indicator that you would study in the book? We have completely changed the way you should look at the RSI indicator. And these are all experience, no textbook examples. Okay. So with this, I think so, Mayank, we should start taking questions, because it's already 6 and I'm sure there will be a lot of questions.
Yeah, sure, Vishal. So guys, you can put up your questions on the chat box. So we have one question from Mr. Vikul. He's asking which stock is best for this strategy.
So I'm giving you my secret formula. Okay, don't give out anyone. I would select the stocks which are near 52 weeks high, because they are actually showing you a good amount of trend. There is a momentum. Okay, so you really want to keep stocks which are near their 52 weeks high and try to see this strategy working over there.
Anish is saying, request you to sum up the 3 rules for the strategy once again, please.
Rule for the long position. Let me just write it down for you. You can see the notepad.
No, Vishal, notepad is not.
No, not visible, right? This is.
You
something...
can put it on the chat box only.
Okay, I've just put it out, so it's very simple.
Now I can see that.
Sure. For long, closing should be greater than 200 SMA. 2-period RSI less than 10 if you are conservative, or you can put 20 if you are aggressive. Okay. RSI 14 period should be greater than 40. Okay. So when do I long exit? Long exit is when RSI 2 period is greater than 75, or RSI 14 period is less than 40. And I'm sure you can do the converse of it, but let's just do this also. And people will ask me, like, what should be the stop loss? There is no stop loss. And that's the most difficult aspect of our trading, because we have been taught that you should always have a stop loss, but with the numbers and everything, we have seen that the stop loss does not help us much. And that's why we, kind of keep it here like that way. Now for short, closing should be less than 200-day moving average. 2-period RSI should be greater than 90. I would not take 80 because I told you, right? Short covering. See, this is how you will learn with an experience. Okay, that I would never be a very aggressive, and I'm a bear guy. If you see my Twitter handle or anything, most of the time I think bearish. But it is the most difficult thing to do, trading the short side of the market. And I've developed this intraday mean reversion short only strategy, which has done wonderful. But obviously last 5 days has been very difficult for us. But the point is, trading the short side is very difficult because you are always against the trend or the herd mentality of the people. Okay, so I will never go very aggressive on the short side. You will want to keep your exposure light on the short side. So 2 period RSI greater than, and 14 period RSI should be less than 60. So when should I exit my position? When RSI, 2 period RSI is less than 25 or 14 period RSI is greater than 60. So this is your profit taking one. This is your basically stop loss kind of exit, loss exit. I hope you can take a screenshot, or maybe what I can do is I just copy paste and put it on the chat.
So let me read out the next question for you.
Sure.
So Vikas is asking, is there any stock and index follow same setup?
Try with the large cap stocks, Reliance, TCS, Cisco. But try the stocks which are trending. Okay. Try the stocks which are trending, because that is the most important thing, right? If you're going to put something, just try which is trending in the market.
So I can see a question from one of our client.
Okay.
So he's asking, is there a separate topic for those who don't have knowledge about the share market? I'm a client of Trustline since long, but suffered huge losses.
Okay. Obviously this full initiative by Trustline is started for its client only. Okay. That you understand. I don't think so this kind of knowledge you would have got by reading a book or anything. These are all practical things that we have been trading. And always remember that I've been also, people tell me that, I've won a lot of competitions trading and I've been making consistent money throughout my journey now. But the fact of the life is I was also a consistent loser, not a consistent winner. For a strong part of my career, a beginning part of my career, it took me there was a common question somewhere floated on Twitter, that what is your time drawdown? So what is the time drawdown is nothing but how much time you took in your strategy to become profitable again. I told them it took me about 10 years to become a consistent profitable trader. But you have to find out what works for you, and then you should start trading it, religiously. The problem with is a 3-day loss or a 4 days loss, people will start jumping the system. And I used to do the same thing. And the minute I've decided and I've studied the strategies, I've actually backtested them, some of them manually, some of them using programs. Okay. My life career changed. I've been consistently making money month on month on month. And that's what trading is all about, right? Put probability on your side and start trading those probabilities. Yes, there will be difficult periods of the strategies. But the problem is we jump as a trader. We jump system. Jump system मतलब क्या? आज RSI ले लिया, कल Bollinger Band ले लिया, परसों कुछ और ले लिया. We jump gurus. आज विशाल सर की ट्रेनिंग अटेंड कर ली, शायद उससे पैसा नहीं बना, तो कल हम लोग ने किरुबा सर की कर ली, आज पैसा नहीं बना, तो हम लोग ने मदन सर की ट्रेनिंग अटेंड कर ली. हम लोग ने सबको जंप ही कर रहे हो. Find a good strategy, find a good mentor or who is trading and stick to them for a while. Nothing. Your baby was born in 9 months. Okay. You learn to speak. Maybe when you are 9 years old, or maybe not 9 years, I would say, but maybe on 4 or 5 years, you started learning what the language is, right? And you expect trading to be learned. Just open up an account, fund the account, and you start trading. You will not learn trading like that. I have burned my hand that way, and I'm sure a lot of you have done that.
So also I would like to suggest that he can use the small cases.
Yes,
And,
very good.
Small case is a very good option, which Trustline is holding right now.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
bot-based trading also is there. So Mr. Sharda, you can explore these two options as well. So let me read out the next question. Mr. Keith, minimum time frame to be used is 1 hour and more, correct? He's asking you.
Yeah. So the longer the time frame, the better will be the result. If you are a guy who wants to do long-term investment, look at this, okay? And you will be like, wow. Sorry, but I use this word. But if you see over here, if you are a long-term investor, 2-period RSI below 20, you just keep on accumulating till it is above your, on a weekly chart. I would not put 200, but I will put 52 week because it's a weekly moving average, right? I will just keep on buying the dips, buy here, sell here. And the swings are getting larger and larger now. If you see over here, if you see the swings are getting larger and larger. And if I go to a monthly chart, like if you really want to hold on to a stock, when it goes below 2-period RSI, okay, you will see, obviously आपको 20 नहीं मिलेगा, आप, you will not get 10 as your period. You may want to change it because monthly is a too longer of a duration to build your portfolio, right? So if you are running any strategy which is and a good quality stocks, let me put it this way, a good quality stock, that's the most important thing. Then you will see this happening beautifully every time. Matlab, Pidilite bought at 961 and sold at 111, 181 next month. It's a good move, right? Pidilite bought at 600 rupees, sold somewhere around 700. It's a good move. Pidilite bought at 223 and sold somewhere around 293 is a good move. So the more you increase your time frame, the better it is, and the more money you will make.
So again, Mr. R.C. Sharda is saying that I am buying and selling stocks on guesswork. I don't know which stock should I buy or sell. So Mr. Sharda, I would again tell you that you may use the small cases and other tools, which are, of course, Trustline is providing on free of cost. So Vishal, I guess I should jump on the next question.
Sure.
So he's that same client only. Mr. Balachandra, can you
Sure.
please once again explain how to overcome anticipate the losses after taking the trade with Hero MotoCorp as an example you showed?
Sorry, come again with your question. Sorry.
Can you please once again explain how to overcome anticipate the losses after taking the trade with Hero MotoCorp as an example you showed?
You cannot overcome the losses. You cannot anticipate the losses. The rules are Hero MotoCorp. I can't okay. Hero MotoCorp. Let me just share the screen. If I would have anticipated, or I would have, trust me, my life would have been completely different. If I would have taken this trade, I would have been exiting my losses. But my rules are very simple. I've defined the rules for you. The minute you become a rule-based trader, the life will be completely changed for you. Okay? And always remember that you will have a loss. And I remember that example giving again, breathing out and breathing in, right? You cannot always breathe in. You will have losses. If you keep on breathing in, just keep on breathing in, keep on breathing in, you will die. You will never, live to see another day. So in my personal trading, I'm right only 55% to 60% of the time. And I'm still making money. So the point I'm here trying to make to you is very, very categorically that you cannot anticipate loss. But yes, there are rules. If the price goes below this, I'm exiting my position. Period. No question asked.
So Vishal, we'll be taking the one last question now.
Sure.
From Mrityunjoy Das.
Sure.
Please explain, is RSI 14 means average of 14 candles or 14 days?
So if you are looking at a daily chart, it will be a 14 days. If you are looking at 15-minute chart, it will be 15-minute, like 14 period of last 15 minutes. So whatever you multiply by 14 into 15 minutes, that's the RSI period for you. So whatever the time frame that you are using, the RSI value will change accordingly.
So Vishal, I think we are done for today.
Sure. Thanks.
So it was a very nice session. And I hope we'll not be meeting on next weekend because it's Diwali.
It's Diwali.
So wish you all a very happy Diwali in advance. So thank you all of you for joining us. Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you. Thank you
So we are
everyone
just-
for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So Mr. Anish Thakkar, you are saying I missed the earlier sessions. You can scroll the YouTube channel of Trustline. I'm sharing the links here and you will find all the previous sessions here. I hope it is done. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.